Alright, so first for setup, I'm going to first show you guys how to set up the board. So there are three different types of board setups: the 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player. Now if you get some of the expansions, then you'll be able to add a 5th player. I'm not sure if that's Fame and Fortune, Wisdom, and Warfare expansion, but yeah, it doesn't matter for this because the base game only comes with 4-player stuff. So there are two types of board pieces, and the board pieces look generally the same, but for the backs, that's what you need to pay attention to right now. So there are 6 that have a person on them, excuse me, and these are the starting places where each country will have their starting city. The other ones that don't have the person on the back, they're just a compass type looking thing, are the neutral map tiles. There are 6 of the non-neutrals and 14 of the neutrals. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up for a 2-player game. So for a 2-player game, you randomly will shuffle these, and then each player will randomly choose one. So let's say these are the 2 we use. These are the only ones that should start face up. You'll notice there's a little arrow on the bottom. This player's arrow should be pointing that way. Let me quick adjust the camera. And this player's should be pointing this way, so they're pointing towards each other. So you start by placing this here, excuse me, then place 3 above it. Then place this next to the last one you placed. Then get another 3 and put them right here. So it should be like a 2x4. Pointing that way, that pointing that way. Okay? So that is the 2-player setup. Now for the 3-player setup, again, randomly choose 3 countries. So first of all, place one here, pointing to the left. Then get 2 neutrals and put them to the left of that. Then get your next country and place it pointing to the right. Now you need to get 3 neutral tokens. Place one here halfway on each of them. The next one right next to that. And the same with the next one. Next up, get 2 more neutral tokens and place them like this, centered above those 3. Then get the last country, place it on the top, pointing downwards towards the bottom row. And that is the 3-player setup. Next we have the 4-player setup. We go ahead and shuffle it, get the 4 people. Start out, have 1 country pointing upwards. Grab 2 neutral tokens and place them to the left of that. Then get the next country also pointing upwards. Now get 4 neutral tokens or tiles and place them right above everything you just laid down, like so. Now get 4 more neutral tiles, place them again above what you just placed. Now grab the next country, this time having it face downwards, pointing downwards I should say, towards this country down here. It should be pointing towards the bottom row. Get 2 more neutral tokens, or tiles, place them to the left of that. Then get the next country marker and put it on the upper left corner, also pointing down towards the bottom row. And this is the 4-player setup. Now before we go any further, we're about to set up the entire rest of the board for a game. So get all the pieces individually set out to what they are, and with the smaller tokens, if you can't tell what's what, just look in the rulebook where it tells you near the beginning of the pages what each individual thing is. Now for all the smaller parts, I've actually put in a little container organization system, and in a minute I'll show you what I've done to make it organized. So this is, what do you call it, a tool shop container. So I got this at Menards for, I believe it was on sale for $3.50 or $4. So the reason I like this for games, I've actually gotten one of these for each of my main games, like A New Dawn and Star Trek Attack Queen. Not only does it have many compartments, you can take those out. I find this especially helpful for Civilization, because of all these hundreds of tiny parts, we don't need to take them and dump them out of a plastic bag and have them all over the table. You can just take these containers out, set them next to the board, and you're done. Don't even have to take them out of their container. I also like it because the bigger ones, bigger containers, there's 3 bigger sizes actually, almost perfectly holds the miniature cards, which Civilization tends to use a lot. Same with Star Trek Attack Queen for damage cards. So here I just organized it by generally what it is. So I've got disaster tokens, great person tokens, world wonder tokens, country and culture track tokens, military level indicator tokens, resources it would seem, plastic figures, wound tokens, culture tokens, gold tokens, hut tokens, village tokens, all the many different types of buildings, tech cards, and here's the first player token, and under that there's all the wonders, the culture event cards, and the, I forgot what we call them, they're sort of a reference sheet type thing, but for buying units. So that's how I organize my stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and then get ready to show you how to set up your board. So the very first thing you want to do is have each player choose a color. Now the colors are green, blue, red, and yellow. Now there are 4 things you have to get for those specific colors. First of all, the tech cards. Second of all, the figures, the plastic figures. The military level indicator tokens. I don't know what their real name is, that's just what I call them, I guess. And then the city markers. Excuse me. So for our example, we'll be using a red player and a blue player for a 2-player game. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out all the red and blue parts, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so now that you've separated the different colored units, it's time to select the countries. So go ahead and take all of these 6 that have the leaders on the back, shuffle them face up so you don't know what they are, and each player randomly chooses one. So we'll give this to the blue player, that's China, and we'll give this to the red player, that's Russia. Okay, so it's actually good that we got Russia because I need to explain something. You probably noticed that in the container of plastic parts, if I can pull it out quick, there is a white unit that looks like this. The player that plays Russia, if any, gets that piece. So go ahead and put that with Russia's things. Excuse me again. Next, get the leader sheets that match the player. So Russia gets that leader sheet, and China gets that leader sheet. And then the last thing like this is to get these tokens. Let me quick zoom in on them for you. They have the face of a leader on them. So we have Russia and China. So this is Russia's leader. You can tell just by comparing them. So there's that. And this is China's leader. Put that over there with that. Okay, so the very next thing you do before you even set up the board actually is get this market board out. Make sure you have plenty of room. So we'll put the market board right about there, which should give us plenty of space. So now that we've done that, we can build the map, and if you remember, it should be like this, pointing towards each other. It doesn't matter if it's that or that. Then grab 3 neutrals, place 1, 2, and 3. Try to have it somewhat centered under the market board. Place that one there. Then 1 neutral, 2 neutral, and 3 neutral. Now make sure that there is a good gap, maybe 4 or 5 inches below the market board. So actually, just about 3 spaces on a map, so 3/4 of a map tile should be good. That's a good way to measure it. Alright, so next we have to set up the market board. So first go ahead and take all your building tiles And you'll notice that they're double-sided. So make sure they're all ones that have a match or face in the same direction. You don't have a sum of each. And put them in a pile. And go ahead and do that with all the rest of the buildings. Alright, so now that you've organized each of the buildings, go ahead and get each stack and put them where it belongs. So harbors go right there. The trading posts will go right there. The barracks go here. Now, this is a level 1 type of a building. That's a level 2. Trading posts and harbors only have 1 level, but all the others have 2 levels, as you can see. So make sure you have every single building of that type on the level 1 side and place it on top of the level 1 picture. So they all should be on the left side. Okay, granaries, markets, temples, libraries, and workshops. Next, what you'll do is take all the military cards, separate them by their color. There should be 4. Once you get a stack, give it a quick shuffle and put it where it belongs. You can do it by color or type, it's the same thing, whichever works for you. This is mounted in blue, as you see here, mounted, blue, so it goes here. Next, let's do this aircraft. You can also follow the symbol. As you see here, it's the arrow symbol. Bow and arrow, I should say. So up there's bow and arrow, so we'll put it up here. And all the rest, except for these 2, hold on to those. But all the rest then go in the last place, which is infantry. Now with these last 2, what you're going to do is go ahead and put them right there. Now go ahead and take these markers we got before and put them right here where it says start on the bottom left of the market board. Now I think this is probably the fastest way to get this portion done. So if it has a level 1 on it, keep it as it is. If it has a level 2 on it, flip it over to level 1. So this is level 1, so we'll keep it as it is. Now if it has a level 4 on it, or a star that is, flip it over to level 3 side. This is level 3, so we'll keep it as it is. Level 4, so we'll flip it over. And then this is just the aircraft. So now we have to pair them. So I'll zoom in a little more for you. Don't know how much further my camera can go. So what we need to do is get the infantry. This you just have to do by looking. So this looks kind of like an infantry, right? So find the other infantry and put it on top. So you should have the level 3 on bottom and the level 1 on top. Now I'll set this off to the side. Now we've got a level 3 artillery, it looks like, cannon. And let's see here, this looks like an artillery, right? Because it's archer. So we'll put it on top, put that out of the way. And these are the only 2 remaining, and they look right. And last we just have the fighter. So up here we need to take all the things we just stacked. So the aircraft, that's one's technically double-sided but only has 1 level on it, goes like that in this bar underneath the aircraft. The infantry one goes right underneath infantry. Artillery goes right underneath the artillery. And then the mounted go right there. Now go ahead and do this with all the remaining colors like this, yeah. So once you've done that, it should look something like this. We've got each player's colors stacked up nicely, just like that. With level 1s on top, and level 3s face up underneath that. Next up, we will take the wonders. So there are 3 different types of wonders, and 4 of each type. So I'll let this quick focus. Well, this might not focus in time, but right here above my thumb it says what type it is. So here, there we go, it says modern. So get all the moderns, put them face down, shuffle them a little bit, then set them down. Now we need to go ahead and grab the medievals. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4 medievals. Do the same thing, face down, shuffle them, set them on top of the moderns. Now over here on the market board, take all 4 ancient wonders and put them face up. It doesn't matter where they go, as long as they're in one of these 4, not the top one. Then go ahead and take the stack you just shuffled that should have modern on bottom and medieval on top, and place that in the 5th spot, up there at the top. Next, take the wonder tokens, which look like this. They have corners cut off on the tops. And notice these symbols on the bottom that look like, kind of like the top of Greek columns. There should be 4 of each type. So put the ones that have 3 in one pile, the ones that have 2 in another pile, and then the ones that have 1 just kind of stack up there. Take all the 3 column ones and set them right there. By the way, they're kind of facing to the right. They are not straight. Now take the ones that have 2 columns and set them on top of that. Now take all the 1 column ones and match them with the cards that are already placed face up. Next, take all the culture cards that look like this. Culture event cards are actually called. Take all the ones that have 1 column, shuffle them, and place them right underneath this thing here that says Culture Event 1. Next, take the ones with 2 columns, shuffle them, and place them underneath where it says Culture Event 2. Then take the 3 column cards, shuffle them, and place them underneath where it says Culture Event 3. Over here to the right of the market board, take all the village tokens, which look like this, and make sure they have the red village side up. Then shuffle them around a bit and put them next to the board. Now repeat the same thing with the hut tokens. Once you're done, it should look like this. Now take all the resource tokens, and you'll notice there are 4 different types of resources. There's iron, incense, silk, and wheat. For each number of players, get 1 resource. So let's say we have 2 players, which we do, get 2 wheat, put them up there. We get 2 iron, put them up there. We get 2 silk, put that up there, and 2 incense, put that up there. All the others go back in the box and are not used in this game. Next, take these, the gold tokens, culture tokens, and wound tokens. And I like to keep them in my containers, but if you don't have portable containers, you can take them out or put them in a little dish. And I put them up towards the top left of my market board. For the last main things for the market board, go ahead and get your great person tokens. Give them a little bit of a mix. Straighten them out. And put them directly to the right of your level 3 columns, or culture event cards. Then get your disaster tokens, which look like this. It doesn't really matter what side you have up. Straighten them out and put them directly to the right of your great person tokens. The last main thing for the market board area, get the 1 level 5 tech Roman numeral V and place it either here or here. And so while I'm at it, I think if you wanted to, you could also put these here where it's easier to access. I just like put them over here because if you're further away from the table, then depending on what angle you're sitting at, you might not be able to see the culture track. Next, we have to set up each player's area. So to give you a sense of where things are, you're right now on top of the board. The market board is behind you. So first of all, China's on this half, so we'll put China's card here. We'll set the trade dial back to 0 and the economy dial back to 0. Next, we have these 4 cards, the type of reference card. Set 1 next to the Chinese card, or maybe on top of it, wherever they want it, and give the other one to the other player. The rest can go back in the box. Now, there are 4 different types, and 4 of each type, of double-sided government cards. Give 1 of each type to each player, and set the others away or into the box. There we go. Next, give 1 stack to the other player. Then take your stack, and assuming you have despotism as your government, it's listed right here. Almost everyone starts with despotism. Find the despotism side, there it is. Put it face up and set it right there. Next, take your tech cards. There's levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are indicated in Roman numerals. Place them somewhere next to your card, your leader sheet, and it's a little more organized and saves time if you divide them into the different stacks, levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. Give the first player token to the first player. Take all the plastic figures for that color and put it next to your leader sheet. Get all your cities, get them on the unwalled side, so that's unwalled, that's walled because it has a wall surrounding the city. Put them all on the unwalled side and set them next to plastic figures. Each player gets one of these reference sheets. One side it says turn summary, and the other one is production cost for various things. Next, get each player a mounted, an infantry, and an artillery, and have them place it next to their leadership card. Next, each player takes their capital city. This is the one that says 12 on one side, 16 on the other side. Make sure they have the 12 side up. Place it somewhere in the center 4 squares of their starting tile, assuming that it is not a water square. The suggested square has an arrow written on it. Then, each player takes 1 scout unit or figure and 1 army figure and places them in the city's outskirts. This is the core of the city, this place right here, and the surrounding 8 spaces are the city's outskirts. They can place their figures anywhere in the outskirts except for a water space. Now is a good time for it, if you're not familiar with your leader sheet, to read its ability. For example, the Russians' ability for the start of the game, they get to place an additional army figure in their city outskirts. And remember, the Russians get a white plastic figure? That's what this one is for. They get to place that in their city outskirts as well. They'll place it there. The Chinese starting ability is that they start with walls in their city. Here at the bottom of the leadership sheets, it says starting tech, then the name of it and the level. Each player should go through their stack and find that card and place it face up where they're planning on having their tech tree. Now, before we start, each player counts the trade symbols, which are the red and blue arrows pointing in a circle around a white circle. Count each of those in your city's outskirts. As you see here, Russia has 1, 2, 3. Increase your trade dial by the number of trade symbols found in your city's outskirts. In this case, it was 3. Once you finish setting up, your board should look something like this.